Hey everyone, it's Susan Pierce Thompson here, and last week I started my vlog, my video blog, and this is the second week. And at the end of the video last week I said that if you had any questions you could send them in and I would answer them on the weekly blog. So Andrea from Maryland wrote in with this excellent question. She says, I find myself fantasizing every now and then about the meal I will have when I reach goal weight. So just so you know, Andrea's in the Bright Line Eating Boot Camp. She's losing her weight and now she's fantasizing about the meal that she's going to have when she reaches goal weight. Nothing awful, just a good Bright Line Eating meal with a roll and butter and dessert added on. I'm thinking Susan will say this means I'm not free, as in happy, thin, and free, right? But I think good food is one of life's pleasures, like sunsets, the smell of the ocean, babies, kittens, and that perfect rose. As long as we remain healthy and do not gain, is this truly not being free? Would love to hear her thoughts. So, Andrea, I do have some thoughts about this. And my thoughts are that if it works for you, then power to ya. So I am all for people eating whatever they want to eat and not gaining weight and remaining happy, thin, and free. That's awesome. And there are people who can do that. These tend to be people who are lower on the susceptibility scale. The higher you get on the susceptibility scale, the less likely it is that when you get to goal weight, starting to introduce bread with butter and dessert is going to work for you. I know it didn't work for me. So about 9 years after I'd taken off all my excess weight and had kept it off for all those years, I decided to try exactly that experiment. And I did it very conscientiously. I deliberately decided to introduce those foods back into my diet. And I gotta tell you, it didn't work. It didn't blow up in my face like a great big bomb. I didn't gain, a gazillion pounds overnight or anything like that. What happened was it slowly started to unravel everything. I did start to gain a little bit of weight, so I went from like a size 4 to a size 6. So it's not the end of the world. And I was prepared to maybe gain a little bit of weight. But then what happened is I realized, well, I'm not really prepared to gain a lot more weight than this. So then the control rigmarole started where I was thinking, okay, I'm going to a party tonight and I'll probably want to eat a little bit of extra, so I need to eat a lot less all day today because I know I'm going to eat a bunch tonight. And that sort of thinking started to really take over my life, where I was always trying to adjust my eating here or compensate over there. And then sometimes what would happen is I would get some sugar into my system and I wouldn't be able to stop eating it. And I would have a full-on massive binge. And after eating like that, I wasn't able to function for a day or two because processing all that sugar was so hard on my body. I wasn't able to get up in the morning to meditate or exercise, so my routines started to get thrown off. And the mental insanity of thinking, what have I eaten? What have I not eaten? Can I afford to eat this? Am I going to make an exception tonight? Am I not going to make an exception? Because let's be frank, a meal with a roll and butter and dessert, an opportunity like that comes along, about every day, right? Or more significant major exceptions, maybe once a week, where there's some sort of event or some sort of thing that you really might like to indulge at. And you start to add those things up, and the odds that you're going to stay slender after having lost all that weight after you reintroduce those foods, they're pretty slim. Now, I just want to remind you that according to the best available scientific data, 1/100th of 1% of people who are very overweight ever lose all their excess weight and keep it off for a decade or more. It's 1% of people lose all their excess weight, and then 1/100th of those actually keep it off for 10 years or more. The data are really clear on this. So I think it's thinking like this that sets people up for failure. So just my thoughts. Now, what I did was I hopped back on Bright Line Eating. I gave it 2.5 months of the good college try, gained those few pounds up to a size 6 and said, no, I'm not willing to do this. And I went right back on Bright Line Eating, lost my weight. And, now it's like 3 years later and I'm still back at my size 4s. So here's what I want to propose to you, Andrea, because I don't actually think that the fact that you're having these thoughts means that you're not free. I think thinking like this is an opportunity to decide what you want to do with that thought. Thoughts like that land on my shoulder all the time, like a little butterfly. And then my choice is to fondle them, nurture them, invite them into the house and make them a pet, or not, you know. Let's not call them a butterfly, let's call them a fly or a mosquito or a maggot or something you don't want on your shoulder. Like those thoughts, we're not responsible for those thoughts. What we're responsible for is the actions that follow and whether we decide to dwell on those thoughts or own them. So what I choose to do when thoughts like that come into my mind is I choose to say, I can have dessert and a roll later. What I can't do is have it today. I choose today to do bright line eating. And I choose it on a one day at a time basis. And as long as I focus on today, what I find is that the benefits that I'm getting from doing bright line eating always outweigh the potential desire to eat whatever that is today. Now tomorrow I might make a different choice, but for today I'm eating in a way that feels congruent with my values. It makes me feel great in my body. I have the figure that I want to have, and for today that's worth it, and I can make a different choice tomorrow. But I'll also tell you that I came to my perspective on all this through a lot of pain and regaining my weight a lot of times out there before I found bright line eating. So I never deny anyone their research. If you want to get to goal weight and go have those foods, I'm not the bright line eating police. Like, go do it, right? See what happens and see if you stay free. I don't think it's that thought that makes you not free. I think it's the thoughts that would follow having that dessert in the weeks and months that would come after that would make you not free. That's my guess. But it's an experiment that might be worth trying, you know? Everybody has to do their own research on these things. I know that I'm so high on the susceptibility scale that that experiment won't end well for me. I will end up fat again and miserable. Not just fat. Fat is, you know, okay, I don't want to be fat, but I don't want to be obsessed with food. I don't want to be thinking about what I've eaten or not eaten, whether I'm on my plan or off my plan, if I have to eat less now because I'm going to eat more later, if I have to eat less now because I ate a lot last night, or I don't want to be having those thoughts anymore. That's crazy making to me. So I eat my bright line meals because they give me peace. And maybe by the time you get down to goal weight, your life will have improved so much, your health will have improved so much, that what will feel like a sunset and a kitten and a rose to you will be sitting down to another bright line meal and feeling grateful for being happy, thin, and free.